Hello there. Theresa May has been warned that the UK should be looking for a deal with the EU, not just accepting a backstop. Boris Johnson has told the PM that he and the other Brexiteers expect her to deliver a deal that prevents the UK having to fall back on a Brexit backstop that would keep the UK tied to the EU for years. In what ITV says some see as a thinly veiled warning, the Foreign Secretary is quoted as saying, "I'm convinced that the Prime Minister will be true to her promises of a Brexit deal, that sees Britain will come out of the customs union and single market, have borders as frictionless as possible, reject ECJ interference, control immigration and be free to conduct unhindered free trade deals across the world. We must now give the Prime Minister time and space to negotiate this Brexit vision." I'm not sure she's got the time. There are too many people now champing at the bit to see a tangible EU withdrawal outcome. All we seem to be continually offered is the usual politician's promise of jam tomorrow. How much more time can the Tory Brexiteers afford to give her? But, and this is a big but, Boris is wrong on this choice. We either get a favourable deal or we should go with no deal. The backstop is worse than no deal, so it's a no-brainer to not even countenance it. After all, what was that famous phrase? Ah yes, no deal is better than a bad deal. That should be the message to both the EU and to the Remainers. Moving on, the EU Galileo satellite project still throws up news. The FT is reporting that the UK is set to issue its first tenders for a rival satellite system by the end of this year, possibly with the help of Australia. And great news, I say. The FT does say that the UK is expected to press ahead with this if the EU insists we can't be involved in Galileo. I say there is no longer any trust between the UK and EU over this system, so we should protect our UK companies' intellectual property and crack on regardless. All we need is a good patriotic name for it. Any ideas? In a sign of the escalating tensions over the ban, the Ministry of Defence will on Monday announce plans to boost resources for a specialist space unit under the control of the Royal Air Force, which will explore military requirements for a UK global navigation system, says the FT. I personally don't want to rely on anyone else for such a sensitive item as satellite data for our military and security service use, whether it be the EU or the US. Having our own resource such as this is as much taking back control as anything else is. Now to Northern Ireland. According to a survey of 1,000 people by the Queen's University Belfast, 69% want the whole UK to stay in the EU single market and customs union. But that poll also shows that only 21% of them want a united Ireland, and another poll by ICM for the think tank Policy Exchange shows 59% of those in Northern Ireland want the UK to stay as it is. So it seems that support for the union between Northern Ireland and Great Britain has overwhelming support in Northern Ireland, even with a backdrop of the UK leaving the EU and its single market and customs union. But as Tory MP Owen Paterson and DUP MP Sammy Wilson say in an article in The Telegraph, there are those on the Remain side abetted and aided by Dublin and Brussels who are exploiting fantasies about the Irish border and are being cynical and reckless about it in the process. So it comes as no surprise to see a press release from MP Tom Brake of the so-called Party of the Lib Dems, channeling the fear of violence in the pursuit of the Remain cause, where he says, "This research shows there are deep fears in Northern Ireland that this messy, ill-conceived, conservative Brexit will result in a hard border that could quickly deteriorate into violence." Theresa May and her Brexiteer ideologues must heed these warnings and pursue a safe deal for Ireland, which means staying in the single market and the customs union. The surge of people in Northern Ireland who would now vote to remain in the EU also provides yet more evidence that there must be a vote on the final deal that provides the option of an exit from Brexit, particularly if that deal is a perilous one for Ireland. What a low opinion of the Irish Mr. Brake must have if he thinks that they will so quickly turn to violence. I cannot for a second believe that the vast majority of the good people of the island of Ireland as a whole would ever want or allow such a thing to happen. As DUP MP Arlene Foster says in an article for The Times, some have sought to use the UK exit from the EU as a means to foment division in Northern Ireland, but I have full confidence that a very healthy majority recognise the wealth of benefits the union brings. Northern Ireland is transformed, and the old siege mentality is no longer applicable. The only siege mentality in evidence these days is that found inside the Remain bunker. So, what do you think? Please let us all know by leaving a comment below. Thank you for watching. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching.